Hey all, day 7. We're going to talk to you today about inviting using the form method and also the 5-step inviting process. The form method is an acronym for family, occupation, recreation, and message. So when you're reaching out to people, often when I started this business, I thought when people said invite that it just meant that I was specifically sending out an invite and being like, hey, join my challenge group. I want you to, get involved in what I'm getting involved in. And that's definitely kind of a misconception. Inviting starts with conversation. So I want to make that very clear to all of you guys. It makes it a lot less painful for you and a lot less intimidating. And it also makes your conversation flow a hell of a lot easier. I know that I was so intimidated when I first started talking to people about this opportunity, and now I don't even hesitate because I know that it's beneficial for them and their health, and I also know that I'm coming from a place that's absolutely genuine and that is coming from a place of caring about them. So typically, the form method for me comes naturally because I am very family oriented. So that is always the first thing that I talk to people about. A lot of the people that I have reached out to on my Facebook page, my friends list, I usually message them. I'll see them come up in my news feed, or they'll comment or like on a post that I've done. And I'll reach out to them and be like, hey, thanks for liking my post on grilling or whatever. I definitely took a look at your page and I wanted to tell you that you just have the most gorgeous family, or comment on something that they just did if they went for a picnic or whatever else. I ask questions about their life and their husband or their significant other or their kids. And I just ask about, kind of what's going on with their family life. Typically I'll hear back from them right away and they'll be like, oh my gosh, and they'll make some comment about my family and things like that. And it just gets the conversation started. So then after that, the natural progression is to ask them, hey, what have you been up to? Are you still working? Are you staying at home with your kids? Or whatever applies to you. So, are you still creating art? Are you still, shopping at Whole Foods? Whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. Excuse me. So the next step is going to be their occupation. Talking to them about, what they're doing for work or what they're doing in their personal life. The next step, when they get back to you, typically they ask you what you're doing, and that automatically opens up the opportunity to be like, hey, yeah, so I'm still doing X, Y, and Z if you're currently working in a different job. Or you don't have to say any of that, and you can be like, yeah, I just, started this endeavor into health coaching. Typically I tell people, I'm like, I'm staying at home with Finn, but I just, made a huge life change last year that led me to be inspired to be a health coach. So I'm really enjoying doing that now. And that opens up a whole new can of worms and they want to know more about it. Typically, if they've commented on your post and that's why you reached out, they're going to know you're a health coach automatically. So you can kind of skip over that and just tell them a little bit about what you've been doing in your professional life. But if you have reached out to them just because you saw one of their posts or something like that, they may have no clue that you're a health coach. So make sure that you put that out there. The next step is going to be their recreation. So like, do you have any summer plans? Are you, any big vacations planned? What's going on with whatever. Have you seen your mom lately? You're going to be heading out to visit her, whatever it is. Those conversations are going to naturally lead into them talking a little bit about how busy they are, or it kind of gives you more of an aspect into their daily life and, how much time they have on their hands. Your message, the end of form, is going to be when you start to talk to them about what you're doing in your challenge groups and talking to them a little bit about, hey, I've been running these groups. I would love to talk to you more about it. Do you have any interest? That's all you have to do is ask them that question. Do you have any interest? Is this something that you'd want to know more about, or is this going to totally like blow you away and you have no, no desire whatsoever? So as you have these conversations, it's really going to open up that door for you to be able to invite them to learn more about the opportunity. You're not inviting them to the challenge group. You're not inviting them to become a coach. You're just inviting them to get more information. Hold on one second. So that is the form technique. It's really useful and it's really comfortable, so I recommend using that. The 5-step process is a little bit more complicated, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. All right, guys, so the 5-step process. This process begins after you have invited a challenger to your challenge group. The 5-step process is kind of a complicated method. When you're messaging people in Facebook Messenger and things like that, we have a printed script that you can use to kind of fill in and tailor to your own needs if you want to use that. As you get more experience, you're going to have your own method of sharing this information. I can always share one-on-one with you what I do behind the scenes. I just messaged a few of you guys the other day to kind of show a conversation that I had and what videos that I show to help people along and show them the information that will be helpful for them making their decision. So step 1 of the 5-step process, I'm just going to go quickly through the steps. We're going to post the document here in a link so that you can actually see the 5-step process in detail. Like I said, it's pretty long, but you just tailor it to your needs, and the concepts are pretty basic. So it starts with your invite. So you're going to invite somebody to your challenge group or to the coaching opportunity eventually. And then the second step is going to be a question. So you're going to pose, hey, you know, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about our challenge group. Are you interested in hearing more? Blah, 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 blah. And they're going to say yes. So they're going to be like, okay, well, what I wanted to do is ask you a couple questions. I want to hear more about what your interests are and what you are looking to gain from the group, what your goals are. Okay, so you're going to keep asking them questions. The more questions and the more information that you get from them, the better. If you are talking a lot, just make sure that you slow your roll because you're going to want to have all the information that you can later use to feed back to them. So ask them multiple questions. Ask them if they have any previous injuries, how athletic they have been in the past, if they're currently doing any exercises, or if they're currently doing any programs. The more questions and the more information that you have, the better. I can't stress that enough. So listen more than talk in this aspect. Once they kind of tell you their goals and everything, you're going to be like, that's awesome. I really think that you would be a great fit for our challenge group. There's a few things that I wanted to share with you as far as information goes. So I have a couple things that I'd love to send to you in an email or in Messenger. Usually you're having these conversations online, but if you're having them one-on-one, then get their email or their information so that you can contact them. Say, hey, I have, some information I want to send to you. When is a good time that you would be able to view this information? They're going to give you a time and you're going to be like, okay, so if I send this to you on Wednesday at 10 a.m., whenever they say that they could view it, be like, will it be okay for me to follow up with you and then do 24 hours later? If they say no, that's really not going to work out, then be like, okay, well then when's a good time for me to follow up with you? If they're very vague, then just tell them, be like, okay, well, it's important that I, get back in touch with you to know if this is really something you're serious about. Is there something that's holding you back? And so this is where their commitment comes in. So when they are kind of hesitant about things, you're going to want to find out what it is and what their objections are, what's holding them back from really taking the plunge. A lot of people think that they don't have enough time, or they think it's going to be really super expensive. A lot of other programs that people are on are costing like upwards of $300 and $400. So usually when we tell them the cost of our program, they're like, oh, like phew, So some people aren't, some people are blown away, so don't get me wrong, but most people are very pleased at the cost of our program. So, but sometimes people are just going to have some objection to this. So just make sure that you're keeping an open dialogue and say, I sense that you're hesitating, what's going on, just whatever. And most people will tell you, they'll be like, I'm just worried that I'm not going to, I'm worried I'm going to fail, or I'm worried that I won't have time, or whatever. And then you can talk to them and talk them through that. Once they commit to watching the video and that you follow up with them, you're going to want to talk to them again and just say, hey, what did you think about the video? What was your favorite part? They're going to tell you what their favorite part was and be like, wow, it sounds like you're really interested in the challenge group. Would you still want, to join? And then they're going to say yes or no. And if they have no's, again, they might have objections and still be concerned, but most people say yes. So once you have that yes, then you're like, okay, here's the steps to order. In the 5-step process that in the paperwork that we're going to attach here, you're going to see our lead coach usually leads in and says, hey, you can sign up as a coach and get other people involved and get your products for free, or you can sign up as a discount coach, or you can sign up as a customer and pay full retail. So she goes in that order. You pick what you want. If you have somebody that's on fire and you want to talk to them about the coaching opportunity or give them a discount right off the bat, awesome. But know that when you give them that discount, you're not making a commission. But you do sign up a coach, which is awesome, and that's our ultimate goal. But you have to do what you're comfortable with. So if you're talking to a challenger and you're, they're seeming hesitant and things like that, you might not even want to broach anything but just making the challenge pack purchase. You just have to feel things out and know what you're comfortable with and what works. So the next step is ordering. So talk to them about what they would like to do, and you're going to have to get their email address, which program they want, and what Shakeology flavor they're wanting to put into that TBB Coach mobile app and get them started. Whether they decide to do it as a customer or as a coach, that's the beginning step. The science behind this is all based on proven studies that it takes people saying yes 5 times to truly commit to something. I don't always follow this procedure to this, very step, but typically it just naturally works out that you're using this process. Whether you eliminate 1 or 2 steps is, happens sometimes, but typically that's the way that it goes. And usually people are saying yes and yes and yes, or no and no and no over again. So the last piece of information I just wanted to leave with you is that don't be upset if you're hearing no a lot. There is a book called Go for No, and it is really powerful. Like, people are telling you no, and it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. And usually a person that's telling you no means not right now. I know that when I started this, I was very ready. I was like overly ready. I told my girlfriend that, I didn't care if she was like eating glass, that I wanted to do whatever she was doing at the time. So like, people will be at different points in their journey. And so if you're approaching them at a time when they have a lot of external stress, then it's not going to be a good time for them. But it might be a good time for them in 2 months. So that's why when you're posting on your social media and you're doing your daily vital behaviors, people are going to continue to follow you. And when they see that you're still having success 3, 6, 9 months down the road and they're in a better place, they're going to come back and they're going to be like, you know what, I do want to do this. I have that happen all the time. I just had somebody sign up from November of last year. So definitely just keep to your goals. Make sure that you're focused. Use form. It works. It's very much less intimidating than just shooting out an invite from a cold start. Definitely use that method. And then this is your follow-up 5-step process. So let me know if you have any questions. Comment in the comment section below, and look at your daily action post. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that this helps you guys start to get comfortable with invites.